Why are Afghans not revolting like Bangladesh did in 1971 and Indians have been doing time and again for hundreds of years? So let's understand what happened in 1971. Today it looks like people are under the belief that 1971 was the Bangladeshi rebellion. I mean, people from Bangladesh have been complaining to me when I spoke about Bangladesh, the 71 war. They have been saying that you are wrong. It is the Bangladeshis who liberated the country. It was the Mukti Bahini that fought the Pakistanis, and it only received some superficial assistance from India. This is what is being taught in Bangladeshi textbooks today, that the 1971 war was Mukti Bahini against the Pakistanis, and the Mukti Bahini liberated the country with some small Indian assistance. And it looks like many people in India also seem to believe that 1971 was a Bangladeshi rebellion. Here's what happened in 1971 in Bangladesh. There was a genocide going on. The Pakistani army was genociding the people of Bangladesh. Minimum 1 million people died. Most likely 3 to 4 to 5 million Bangladeshis died at the hands of the Pakistanis. This was a full-scale genocide. The Bangladeshis were helpless. There was nothing they could do to defend themselves. It is the Indian establishment, the Indian army, that created this organization called the Mukti Bahini. They created the organization. They trained these people, these ragtag rebels. They armed them, and then they sent them back into Bangladesh to fight a rebellion against the Pakistanis. But unless the Indian army and Indian Air Force had intervened, the Bangladeshis would never have had any success. They would have never had a separate country of their own. It is the Indian army in its entirety that did everything, that won that war. The Mukti Bahini had a minimal influence in all these operations. The Bangladeshis owe their country to the Indian army and nobody else. The Mukti Bahini is just a fiction that was created to give legitimacy to the fact that India wanted to carve a separate country out of Pakistan and basically dissociate East Pakistan from the overall country of Pakistan. So 1971 was not a rebellion by Bangladeshis. The Bangladeshis were helpless. They were dying. They were being massacred. They were being genocided. It is only because of the Indian army that they were able to get a country of their own. If the Afghans try to revolt against the Taliban, they will again face the same sort of massacre. The Afghans are not armed. The Afghan population, the civilian population, is not armed. The Taliban have machine guns, they have weaponry, they have AK-47s. Now they have American equipment. Anybody who tries to rise up against the Taliban will be wiped out. It doesn't work like that. The world is a different place. The theoretical world is different and the real world is very different. When you have a gun pointed at your face, the whole world changes. So the Afghans are in no position to revolt against the Taliban. And like I said, 99% of Afghans are actually happy. They wanted Sharia law. The Taliban are giving them Sharia law. The US-led government of Ashraf Ghani was quite corrupt. The governance was very poor. There was no law and order. There was only order to some extent, but there was no justice. In Sharia law, there is a form of justice. It's a very brutal justice, but it is, at least there is justice now. The Taliban people will impose Sharia law and they will dispense justice very swiftly. So at least some form of justice will be given to the people of Afghanistan, which is something they lacked for the past 20 years. So the majority of Afghans are actually happy that now there is a functioning government who will actually dispense justice. So the Taliban is a welcome change for most people in Afghanistan. So I don't see any reason why they would revolt against the Taliban regime.